So this lab, we are going to do a little bit of email and web activity investigation. We are going to use bulk extractor. We talked about bulk extractor last week and also this week. I think that, so the hardest part in using tools like this is to wait for it to complete. As you proceed in the steps, when you get through part B, it's going to tell you you're going to have to wait 4 hours for the complete scan, right? The class session is not going to be 4 hours, but you will need to wait 15-20 minutes for it to give you some kind of result so you can take that and put it into the assignment. Realistically, a small image like this is going to take 4 hours. So if you're looking at a very large image, it will take days. You will have to leave your system running for days to get it to give you some kind of result. So you have to be patient with it. All right. So the first part we're going to do is you're going to plug in your external USB drive because we are going to install some applications on it. So here's my drive. I'm going to go ahead and copy my forensic virtual machine so you can drag that to your desktop or copy and paste it to your desktop from the drive. The VBox does not like to run it directly from the drive, and it is slower from the drive. So you just put it on your desktop and run it from your desktop. We've done this since the beginning of class. So I already have it on my desktop here. Let me show you. Right? And then I'm going to run it from this folder. So I just copied this just to show you. Actually, let's do it from this folder. And then I'm going to open this up. So once you copy the folder to the desktop, open up the folder and double click the blue file. Before we launch it, we just got to make sure that we check the settings. The system, processor, and RAM. So 4 for processor and motherboard is 8,000 for RAM. So we're good there. And we're going to click start. So copy and paste the folder to your desktop. And then add the virtual machine or double click the blue file inside the subfolder of the copy folder. Check your processor. You can change it to 8, right? I had it at 4. So the more processor you give it, the little faster it's going to go. And then start your virtual machine. Once you have your virtual machine running, you should use Chrome or Edge. If you want to install Chrome, you can install Chrome on there. If you want to use Edge, just make sure that you set up the Edge configuration. And then you need to install Java. Java is required for bulk extractor. Without Java packages, your application will not work. Okay. So we need to install Java 8 or higher. I think Java 8 should be available. So once I'm here, let's log in. Oops. Okay. Open up Microsoft Edge. And then we can go to java.com.
This link is not working.
Which link is not working?
The digital flora.
For the bulk extractor, this
Yeah.
one? I tested it like yesterday. It should work.
You didn't.
So yeah, so I'll show you how you can do that. Okay, first we're gonna download Java. And then click download. And then I'm just gonna save and then run. So make sure that you save your Java download and run your Java download. And if this pops up, click yes, right? So I visited java.com. I clicked the big green download button and then the small green download button. And then I click save and then run. And once I click run, it's going to say, do I want to install Java? Yes, right? You have to also allow the Java to install. So if you get that little prompt from your firewall, make sure that you select yes. So click install. So make sure that we download Java from java.com. Click download and then yes to allow Java to install, and then click run after we download and install Java. So it's going to look like this. Without Java package, bulk extractor will not work because it's written in Java. Okay. All right. So what did we complete? Step 11 and 12. Now, some of you might have a hard time getting access to the applications, right? Or download the application. So once I install Java, I close. You can just search for it, right? Bulk extractor, download. It just brought me to Bing. Let me see. Yeah, if you search bulk extractor, download digital corpora, it should take you to here. You can get it from GitHub, but I think some of the releases on GitHub might not. That just for developers. Okay. So did you guys follow me? For step 13, right? If this link doesn't work for you, you can also download the exe on the outside and then transfer it via the USB by mounting the USB. You just open up your browser and search for bulk extractor download digital corpora. And then it's going to give you the first link. Click it. And then it's going to take you here, right? What we want is we are going to do the 1.55. So make sure we click the right one. We don't want the tar-gz, the other one. So we are going to do the 1.55 installer exe. Okay. This one, the 1.55 installer exe. Click that. Click save and then run. So make sure that I search for bulk extractor download digital corpora. And it takes me to it gives me the first hit, which is digitalcorpora.org. Click that. And then it's going to give me this page, and I'm going to download version 1.55. Click save and then run. And this pops up, say yes. And we want if you're using older version, you can do 32-bit, but we're going to do a 64-bit. Click install. So 1.55. Okay. So if you get stuck, did you search like what I showed you? So let's search. You have to follow along. Come on, baby. Open Edge. All right. Chrome. You have Chrome open. And search bulk extractor. Download. Download.
Space down.
Space. And you're missing the A now. Backspace. Twice. A, B. Space, digital corpora, one word. Okay, so once we install, we're gonna close, and then I can close my website that I download from. Okay, so once you have your bulk extractor exe, right? Again, I think I search for digital corpora, bulk extractor, download digital corpora, and then I click this link. And then once I get here, I'm gonna scroll down and I'm gonna find version 1.55 exe, this one. Okay, this one. Where my cursor is. Like that. And go down to the 1.55 exe. Yeah. Save. The baby X. Yeah, it's saved. Yeah. You're using Chrome, right? Yeah, it's under download. So now go to your downloads folder. You installed Java already, right?
Yes.
Okay. Go to downloads and then run the exe. Downloads. Okay, and then the first one. Did you install Java?
Yes.
Yes? And then install. Okay, so everybody okay with getting bulk extractor? Make sure we get version 1.55 exe, not the others for the other platform. Okay. Then, let's read through the case, but what I recommend the easiest is to download the actual image on the outside, but we'll get there. So this company, M57.biz is the company that we are assisting, right? So the scenario is that we have a disk image of data exfiltration. We want to know who leaks the data and how, right? That's the whole point in this investigation. So it is a small startup. There is some confidential file, a spreadsheet that was posted publicly. And we want to, and that file contains like social security, private information. So we want to find out how that file got posted on a website, right? That means that data was exfiltrated. So the company, they make a decent amount of money. You know, they closed about $10 million. There are 2 owners, 10 employees, so it's a fairly small employee base company. So there's just a small group. So the president of the company is Allison Smith. The chief financial officer is Jean. There are 4 programmers. There's some marketing specialists. And then this is for biz dev is going to be Indy. It's a virtual corporation. So that means that people are working out of their house, right? And some marketing people is working in their hotels and coffee shops. And then sometimes they have in-person meeting. So the spreadsheet looks like this, which contains financial salary information and then some social security information, which is a no-no, right? Okay, so here we already established that there have been interview information. So Allison denies that, you know, that she never requested any kind of spreadsheet. So what we want to do is we want to see if someone has requested the spreadsheet, right? But she said she never asked for the spreadsheet of the salary information. The chief information officer said, no, Allison asked me to create the spreadsheet, right? And then to send it. So maybe someone had asked asked Jean to send it, but not Allison, right? So that might be, so we have to probably look into email. Here's some password and login information. So the question that we want to answer is, how did the documents get to someone else's website? When did Jean create the spreadsheet? Did Allison's computer, how did it get from the Allison's computer to the website? And who else in the company is involved, right? In the data exfiltration. Okay. So if you have a hard time downloading the image from number 15, you simply download it from the outside. So control click and then save it on your host computer. So save as, I'm gonna put it on my PC under downloads. And it's gonna take like about 15-20 minutes or so. And then if put it on the USB and then mount your USB. Okay? Let me see. I will see if I can upload this onto Canvas. Maybe Canvas is faster. I have the file. I learned from my prior lessons about you guys not having the image. So I make sure I have all the images, because sometimes that they do away with the image. Yeah, I'm gonna do that right now. Yeah, on the lab page.
Are you saying once it's downloaded, then we can?
Put it on the USB, so copy it to your USB. Okay, let me do it from my, I think I have it on this one. CIS27A. Oh, it doesn't let me. It says it's over the limit. Boo. Okay. Yeah. So I can't put it on Canvas. Yes. Okay, so just wait for the downloads on the host computer. I have. It's fairly fast. It does say 20 minutes to start, but then 5 minutes or a few minutes in, it's gonna give you like 8-9 minutes. So not true to real time, right? So once you have the image, from my downloads, I'm gonna go ahead and copy it to the USB. Okay. And so what we're gonna do is we are going to close this while we wait for the downloads. We're going to, let me see, bulk extractor. So when you try to open bulk extractor, it's gonna say BE viewer bulk extractor. You can search for bulk and it's gonna come up like 1.55 like this. And it's gonna look like this. So our application is gonna look like this. The reports is gonna come to the left, and you can always change you glide it over so you can view everything because it's gonna pop up like this. It's gonna populate. Okay, let me check my downloads. 6 minutes. Okay, so once we finish the download, put it on your USB, right? Copy and paste it to your USB, and then on your VirtualBox, on your virtual machine at the top, remember, you add the USB and then you mount, go to devices, and then, but copy it first, because once you mount the USB to the virtual machine, the outside machine cannot access it. So we want to only allow one system to access it each time. So once you have your image, you are going to bring it into the bulk extractor. And then, so I'll walk you through. It's slightly different, but if you download it, it's under the downloads folder. So I downloaded it on the outside machine. Let me see now. Halfway. So when you go through, you are going to, it's when it populates, you gotta wait like 10-15 minutes. We still have a lot of time. You have like an hour and a half left until 8 o'clock. So there should be a lot of time for you to be able to see. You are gonna examine some email information. You are gonna get some email message, right? Their subject information. So the goal is to find out who told Jean to publish that list, right? That file, that spreadsheet. That's your goal, okay? So we have to dig out the email information, who's talking what, who's setting what. I want you to have that experience because sometimes email headers are kind of hard to read. And then you're going to look at some email, right? And you should ask yourself, did the email come from the actual person? Okay. From Jean, Allison, or another person like Bob. Okay. Because, and you have to look at it carefully to make sure, is it coming from the real people? And is it, you know, who sends it when? Okay. And that's our goal. Okay. So we should have enough time to be able to get through this. Yeah, last year I made them do 2 cases for 1 lab, but we're just gonna do 1 because it takes long for each case. So let's see. I'm 2/3 done. I have 2 minutes left. Yeah.
Do you have extra USB?
You can use the big USB there. The case, the black case, where, are you talking about just to transfer file?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just use the regular, where your virtual machine is.
Oh, I have one actually.
Yeah, just put it on that and then mount that one, the Toshiba. It's only 35 steps, but we wait. That's why it takes a little bit longer. Yeah. You just type it in. You have to type it in. Which step are you at? Is it Java already? You installed it? Yeah. Okay. So on the step 15, press Control and click it. You don't do it on the virtual machine. I download it on the outside and I transfer it with USB. You understand what I mean? Hold down Control key and click it. Oh, so for this, well, cancel that. And, you installed Java already, right? Okay, you can close that. All right. You installed Java inside, not on the outside. So let's do that on the inside. Everything we do is for the inside except for so type java.com, redo that step right there. Download. That's done, just run it. That. Yes. Now we have Java on the inside. And then when you get to the next step, search for bulk extractor, download digital Papora one, digital Papora. You see like this? You can open it in the tab, search while it's doing that. Okay. So bulk extractor, space, download, space,
I
digital
just
Papora.
downloaded that, but I lost it. Can't find it.
It's under your, and you use Chrome, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just click got it. And then go to your downloads folder. If it's done, it would say the download file. If it's not done, it say unconfirmed. Like this. Go to downloads folder. And if it's done, it should say the E01 like that. How do I, so minimize your screen and then go to this PC. This PC, minimize it. Oh, go to your desktop, open up this PC. Okay, so once we have we access the downloads folder, we right click, copy, and then put it onto your USB. Or you can download it directly to your USB to start with. No, inside, that's inside machine. You download it on the outside, right?
Yeah, on the inside.
No, you just click the link on the outside, right?
Oh, yes.
So that's on the outside
Yeah,
machine.
okay.
So minimize this. And then go to this PC, double click. Go to downloads. Go back here. Go back here. Yeah, so. Fresh. Yeah, so click save as. Oh, it has it. Go open file. Open the folder. Right click. Copy. 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 Go to the Toshiba and paste. And then mark the print your work of the, yes. Yeah, so once you have it, you can put it on your desktop and or actually you can open up the application browser. You just have to bring the file into the application inside the virtual. You got it? Did you copy it? Okay, good. All right. So I have downloaded and copied it to my USB. Now I need to mount my USB for my virtual machine. Go to devices, USB, and select your USB. Mine is different than yours, so you have the Toshiba. Click the Toshiba. I have the silicone power. I'm going to click that and wait for it to see the USB, which it now sees it. And then you don't have to copy and paste it to the virtual machine. You can just have the application mount or access the file from your USB. So what I did there was I didn't download it onto the virtual machine. I moved it from the USB, right? So then you're gonna open up a bulk extractor. So in here, right, type in bulk extractor and open up your application. And it tells you, let me see. So when you access this application, you're gonna click the gear icon, this little gear icon right here, right? Which is for the parameters. So go here. And then, so when you open up the application, click the gear icon at the top. And you're gonna browse to where your image file is. It's on my USB. So this PC, right? USB. And then I find the 2008 Gene E01, open that. Again, open up bulk extractor, search for it. After you install it, click on the gear icon, find your image file from where you had transferred. So in this case, I had put it on my USB instead of downloads. I mount it. And then, sorry. For the output directory, what we'll do is we'll put it on our desktop inside the virtual machine so that way it's easy for you to see. But I recommend that you make a folder for it, right? By practice, so we can go. The second bar here is your output. Where do you want your report to be? Click the browse button and then click desktop. I'll make a folder for it. We just call this Gene 01, right? And select. So make a folder on your desktop for it. So click this. Browse to your virtual machine desktop. I make a new folder by clicking the new folder and I call it Gene 01 and then select it. So when you open up the application, click the gear icon and then find your image file that you transfer via USB or download it. Okay, so we are at step 20. And on the very similar to Pro Discover or Autopsy, you're going to have options on how you want to scan. Just keep in mind that Autopsy does a little bit more web-based things. So you can, we talked about EXIF, right? We talked about ELF, all of those things. So I have you selected everything except for hash DB because we are not checking hash database. If you're not sure, you can include most of the things that are listed here. And then what? So you are going to check all the scanners on the right except for hash DB. And then once that's done, right? I think the run button is on the bottom. You just press enter or you can click run. Sometimes the Java window is kind of It's crash. Alright, so just close it. You copied it onto your desktop. Power off. Sorry. Okay. Go to here, let me see your folder. You copy it to use, oh yeah, so you have it, okay. Go to your desktop. Open up the folder that you're working. Difficult. Yeah, yeah, for the full complete scheme,
Yeah.
we'll just wait 20 minutes, start. Any need help or have questions? Okay, so once you start your virtual machine, open up your bulk extractor, or yeah, open up your bulk extractor app. Search for it. No, because you keep looking at the install file. That's an install file. So how did I open up that? No, because when you, yeah, that's right. When you keep looking at the file. Jack, take your glider and lift the right. Yeah. Put the gear, the gear, the gear. And then, yeah, the image file, click the browse button. The dot button to the right. How did you, okay, so now, where's your image file that you downloaded? Put on Toshiba, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's add the Toshiba to the version by adding flex. Okay, good. Then now. Part, what's this percent? Going. Okay, so. Let's click the browse button from output. And then on the desktop. Yeah, I would make a folder. And then when you need to click run, just after you do that, just press enter on that run. How are you doing over here? You downloaded Java already, you installed? For the inside, right? Okay.
Yeah, I still have to download
You
this.
downloaded, the executable inside? You install it? Okay. Okay. What's your question?
Do I have to re-download Java?
No, everything is still the same. So now, what step are you need to transfer, you need to run the app. So you installed the app already, right? The bulk extractor? Okay, search for it with the search bar,
Search for.
bulk extractor. Clicking it, just type in bold. Yeah, your mouse integration, what's going on with your mouse integration? Capture it. So use on the inside and see.
Yeah.
Some reason, I think it's because I think this one. Because your mouse is also USB. No,
Sure.
yeah, right control. Everything is forensic, or
We're earning this.
it's gonna, and as you,
Lately, the past couple of weeks were 40.
and you're gonna get longer and longer. This
Oh,
class in
yeah.
particular, you're gonna, every image that you're gonna have is a little bigger. So, yeah, the next, when we do the Android one, you're gonna see that it's gonna be longer. But usually, Bulk Extractor is pretty good at giving you some data after 15 minutes or so. So if it's able, and that's probably enough on what we need for the email. It's just
Operator
complex. Okay, so far.
This is trying to teach me the hard way.
Maybe it's just this computer, because you always sit here, right? It always crashes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just browse to, did you download it and save it onto your USB? This image? Oh, yeah, just browse it. Oh, mine, but. Yeah, so once that loads, see if you can manage this field. That works. Works?
No, just do it.
Okay. No, it's just the C on the the Alien University. Does. I noticed that every time I bring my solid state external hard drive in and I connect it with the, because it only comes with the USB-C cable. So I'm gonna remove only, we're gonna re-add it again. Your state of the machine is saved to the desktop already, so it should be on. Output desktop, it shows me that browse. You make a folder for it. Is a prior step, it tells you to make a folder. Oh, you have, everything you do for that part is inside, so make a folder, just click the new folder, I'll be right there. You see right here, click browse, and then, I'm sorry, click the new folder next to it, yeah. And just name it Gene 01 or something. And select it. This the dot. Equal. Browse.
Crazy.
That's where do you want to import? Have it? Yeah, you gotta name that folder like G01 case or something report or something. To do it all now. Oh,
How can we do it
wow,
without a
that
button?
was just tap keys. Tap. Tap and shift.
Up and down.
Yeah.
Leave them out.
I'm just gonna kill it. Just so, because it's just gonna be a waste of your time reading. Okay,
For number 21, do I select the folder, you know what?
I'm sorry?
For number 21, do I select, you know what?
For 21, it says select all scanners except for hash DVs. That means you check everything on the right except for that option. Oh. That's now.
Yeah, I'm glad now I'm getting.
When I click delete all, I forgot that it went delete the sources also.
Class is, challenge.
Should have deleted the desktop, but it deleted the. Oh, I see why now. Yeah. You mount it, so when you ran your virtual machine, you ran it from the USB, not the desktop. Because when I deleted the file, it deleted from the USB, not the desktop. That's why it's running. So if you guys are having virtual machine crashes, maybe because you are running it from the USB, but. Okay. All right. Yeah, sometimes it needs a restart to refresh. Can you help? Just press enter. Yeah, it's on the bottom, and unfortunately, the way that they wrote the application, it doesn't scale to a smaller window. But if you install it on a regular PC, you will see that button. Yeah, it's just the Java application that the developer wrote. It's not.
Oh, yeah, you
Yeah.
have to size the window.
Yeah, you have to resize the window to get it to see the bottom. They could have it where it's dynamic, where it would adjust. It's just an if else statement. It would just adjust to the active window. But, you know, it is what it is. It's a free program, so. Yeah, so once you see a screen like this, you know that it's running. Right? And so when you're doing 4-core, it's gonna do 4 threads, and then if you have more core dedicated to it, it's gonna be better. But once it populates, it should be able to populate something. Okay, so this is how you guys gonna see. On the new version of this app or the edited version, it doesn't always show up like this. So in order to see something, you're gonna click File and then Open Report, right? And then browse to the folder where you had your report, which is on your desktop, right? I had Gene 01. You might name it like M57 Gene 01 or whatever the name that you have for the output. select that folder, right? And then on the second section of the prompt, you're gonna do a custom path, and then you browse, and then you are going to point to where your image file is, which is on your USB or on downloads. And then click OK. Just where your image file is. The downloaded or the transferred USB one. So I browsed to my USB for that. The NPS 2008. And then click OK. And what you will see is it's gonna populate like this. And in order to see everything, you're gonna have to click in it. Like, so alerts are notifications. Like if you have a new email, it's gonna notify you, like, you know, that little alert pop-up on Windows saying so-and-so sent you an email, right? So you see some of that here, like the Outlook. And so, and it's still reading, you know, so what you see is you are gonna see something. So when you click the email.txt, you're gonna see some information about the email. Okay. So I would recommend that you open report, select your output folder, which is on your desktop, and then the second part, select the image file that you have on your USB or downloads, right? This is like, mine is what, 15 minutes in now? And to be able to populate some data, but of course the complete scan is gonna be like 4 hours. We won't have that much time to wait. So if you go to email.txt, once you populate your report information, look at the email information. When did Jean send to Allison and when did Allison send to Jean, if there were communications? When was there anybody else that sent to Jean or Allison? And you have like, what, 4 core dedicated or 8 core dedicated? I don't know, it's so
Eight.
slow. It's so
Says it go
slow.
8.
Yeah, it's so slow to start. See, it's still failing you.
Sure.
CIS27A. Okay. We will likely have to start from the beginning. Java.com. So we install Java. While that's doing that, pick this up. Type bold extractor. Okay. Crazy how it's Go through them. Okay, now, we pull up this. So we'll be checking that. Okay, so to close, and then we're gonna install the bulk extractor. Sorry. Okay. Close. So now you have everything, just pick up where you left off. So open up your first, let's bring the file in, right? Devices, USB, let's keep Toshiba. And wait for it. I'm just gonna move it in so that way you don't use the USB, because I really think that that slows it down. I feel that probably when you scan from the USB, it's also slow. And if you scan from downloads folder, probably a little faster. Okay, all right, so your image file is here, right? Close this, we can unplug the USB. And then we are going to open up bulk extractor, search bulk. The year, here. The browse button. First browse button. And let's find your image file, which is on your desktop. An NP 2000B. Okay, now you want to put where your file's gonna report to the browse button on the right. And desktop. Make a new folder, click the folder with the red star. Type G01. Jean, like J, like jeans you wear, G. 0101. And click select. Good, that's where your output, your results gonna be. And then set 21 it says click all the scanners except for the hash DV. So on the right, you're gonna select everything except for hash DV, so leave that one blank. That, all the others. If it's selected already, keep it selected, and then press enter. Enter. Wait. What did mine say? It says report already open. Okay. All right. So do you guys see anything interesting? No? Okay, so let's look at what I have so far. Right, I'm sure some of you are probably already there. So I open up my report and I click on my email email.text. And this is where your email headers are gonna be. You can also do like a filter with a certain keywords if you have a lot of email, right? So it has the feature filter, but you gotta kind of wait for it to go through more. But I just wanted to preview so you can see. When you look at email header, it's gonna be hard to read like this. You know, because it's gonna give you all the encoding, like what we talked about last week. And on this one, it says Gene at m57.biz, right? Which is the basically for this person, we know that that's a real person. We check that with the list of email that we have at the employee list, right? It says to activate your Google account, please click the link provided. The Google Alerts message. Does that look weird? Is it, you know, is it one of those phishing email or is it not, right? So this is probably just like an alert. And then also, so when you look at, you would see the other email would be the same. Go down and then you can check other emails. So we have some AOL ones.
That one, what's the filter out if I just Gene?
Yeah, you can just find Gene only. So when you filter match, it's going to highlight all the headers that would include Gene. And this is important, because you are going to have like things that would be related to Gene. It might be to Gene at 57.biz. But if you see something similar, right? So our goal is to maybe we suspect that it could be impersonation. It could be someone that pretend to be Gene because Gene or Allison, right? So we have to look at both sides. Did Allison ask Gene or someone else asked Gene? So that was yeah, so the progress it shows me it's done, right? It might say that, but it's okay.
Mine's at 17. You can still see that.
Yeah. It's after like maybe 10% you can see it. I'm on 4 core and I'm done already.
Oh.
I think it's the i9 on this. No, just all right. So to answer these questions, right? So what you want to do is you want to, after you run and it's like about 10% in, you can still see some information like I said. Okay, you come over here, you go open the report, you select your folder where your report went, which is on your desktop, and your image where you had, which mine was on my USB or yours could be under downloads. So once you do that, click OK. and it's gonna populate this. You're gonna click on the email text and you need to filter out Gene. Okay, so that will be step 23 and 24. Look through the email list. Is there anything irregular about some of the email? Right? So a way that someone can impersonate someone else in an organization is to use extended email. So for example, if someone pretends to be me, right, they might use my full name dot extended things, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dot whatever. Is it really me? No, right? So that's something that you need to look out for. So look at this email. m57.bizmail.m57.bizgene. But wait a minute, the original Gene email is gene@m57.biz. You see what I mean? So if I'm just a careless person that looks at the email, I might say, oh, that might came from the company and it might came from Gene because it includes their name and the company's name on it. So this is what sometimes people falsify someone else or impersonate someone else. This is what they would do. So that's one flag, right? And then as you look through on the right hand side, it's gonna give you the header information. We talked about that, right? Like which server that it went to, where that come from. If you have attachment, it's gonna send that. But you have to get used to reading it like this. It's going to have a lot of like text that would be together. So you have to kind of analyze the information like this, okay? So look through the header and then identify any kind of irregular email. So, but when you look at the content to see if there's any kind of communication about sending something, right? Sometime that will be in subject line, or in the header where there will be an attachment. Okay, so with that, answer the question, are there email addresses that are different or lengthy? Okay, and then click on the irregular email addresses. Let me see if you can. Oh, it doesn't let you see. Yeah, so once I click on that header, I'm going to click the bookmark select feature. They change up the interface for this. Yeah. You can add it to the bookmark list, but it doesn't. It should give you some information. Yeah. So look at the right-hand side to see if you can find some information. What is the timestamp for the first message? So when I look at this, right, coming back here, this was the first one. And then you can scroll down and it would tell you the timestamp like right here. But sometimes it gets cut off. So you can pull this to the left a little bit so you can see. So use your glider and then you would see that it's Saturday, July 19, 2008 at what time. Okay, so manipulate the interface glider, the columns, so that way you can see. Okay, so follow the steps. Once you have like certain percentage in, you should be able to view this. And then look at the subject line for the first email, the lengthy email. So it tells, look at the email. It's gene@m57.bizmail.m57.bizgene. So that's a funky email. That's not a real email. We know for sure that that's a falsified email at this point. Okay. So you're going to look at the email header, the subject line for the timestamp. Um, and then if you look at the subject, right? It actually point to this account.com. Remember we talked about how all your user account has an ID? So that's probably a good idea to document the ID and then go back to Google and ask them about that ID. Does that match the actual account, right? Realistically, that's what we should do. So you can see that here with the ID. It doesn't say like Gene, whatever, but it would have an ID number. So we want to document that. And then you have to do the same thing for the next email. So if I search for, I filter Gene out, right? I know that this one is outstanding. This one also. So you can look for that one. And you would see like it would use some kind of mail server. So we want to see if what kind of mail server that handles the email, right? And then earlier we talked about like social media. So you would see that there would be social media or websites that, so like web history, you should see that here for RFC. And then you also have social media. So if they have like a Facebook account, it will go under Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. Right? So you would see if once it populates that, if they have information, you would see it there. L. So this one is a lengthy email address. See, that one is also, we can suspect that one as well. So if we click here. Okay, so I see the content for this one. If you click email and if you search for Gene match case, right, yeah, you can get you see the long weird email address before Gene at. So if you click on that and you see some text content, regarding the subject line is which email address are you using, right? So I think there was some kind of verification on Gene part trying to check. Right, so or actually a false Gene person sent to Allison right here, see? And it says Alex, right? SMTP Allison at 57.biz. So this person is trying to be the fake Gene, communicate with Allison, and Allison's trying to verify if that's the right Gene. You can see that here. Which email address are you using? Okay, and that was on the 20th of July, 2008. If we go to the second set of communication, that's a respond to that, right? It says Gene user is Gene at 57.biz. And then the third one. Oh, you have to open the report. So you import the report, subject file. Open report. How far were you when you tried this? Did it show the percentage earlier? You click run? Okay, close that. We ran earlier. What happened last?
This is it, that's all it came off, it said it was open. The report here?
No, did you run the scan?
No,
Okay.
it just.
Which step did you try last time? I helped you to run to
Yeah,
set
I
that up.
was here, set it up, and then I was trying to.
But I told you guys to wait at least 15 minutes. Did you wait? Okay, so click file. Open report. Okay. And your report is open already, okay? Yeah, it doesn't have anything yet, so uncheck the match case. Clear that out. Type Gene.
It's still checking.
Let's see if it runs at Quick Tools. Run bulk extractor. Yeah, it should, not cache, maybe. Shows we have done before, okay. Tools. Oh, I'm sorry, gotta mount the image. That's on your USB or desktop, yeah. That's right. Directory. Desktop. Tab. Tab. No, tab. Close that. Close that. Drag it up. Secondary errors being. All the code. Open. Yeah, that's fine. And then you gotta select your custom path. Gabe.
Yeah.
Select your custom path, your image. Your image. Your image that you use, your image. Okay? I It should show like mine, but yours doesn't show like mine. Technology doesn't have to. Huh? No.
You know, about that robot. That's like, you're blaming on the robot.
Well, that's the fun.
It'd be great. I would totally support it.
When you leave for work, the robot's home.
Imagine all the menial tasks that you don't have to do,
It's gonna be like
clean.
Jefferson's, man, you know?
Yeah, that's right. I would totally love it, but I don't have to do the household chore tasks. You
That's
should
right.
be, yeah, you should be like,
Wait, I'm gonna make my robot go to work for me, you know? Okay, so you're up, man.
oh, his
You're
thing
up.
should already start that with his little.
Making for the grocery store for me, everything.
You can do that through the app already. People bring the groceries to your
There
house.
you go, dude. Make all this mine. Make them do some. Yeah, they're gonna do that right, right, but like, maybe like,
Imagine how
Tesla
much
doing
time
that, like,
you will
robo
save.
taxi. Yeah, like you buy a robo taxi and then you just like pretty much rent it out to people and go to school and make money for you.
That was robot.
I'm just gonna have my robot like start mining Bitcoin, you know?
That looks like a computer on it.
Right?
But you have to have a farm to effectively.
You gotta-
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yours is weird. It doesn't want to. But I think. It doesn't want. Let's. You know, the image that we copied, yeah, it says it found no email.
The image is there, right?
Well, yeah, we copy it, but because we did copy it to the desktop. This is typical in the industry though, you are one step forward and 3 steps back sometimes. You just have to go back and look at your steps and do it again. Yeah, if you minimize the screen to a certain size, see how this is?
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's. Okay, I think, I don't know, it's saying error. It says reading buffer error. It doesn't want to.
Can we change it?
The download. know, it's been just like, I don't. I'm just testing, I re-downloaded the image. And I don't know if it's an issue with the image, but it says that it's just reading the buffer error. And we tried it with the USB, so I'm suspecting it could be the image that we downloaded previously. So. I don't know. And it only took 40 seconds. I'll take a 10-minute soon. I know that some of you are getting antsy in the dog. Yeah, it should not be that fast, so your report should be like. Well, no, it has to be. Okay, now it works. For some reason, the image that was from earlier, so I'm just gonna wait for it. Murphy is on your side today, sir. Little low, slow, it's fine. We're good? Any questions? Yeah. What do you mean you need help? So the instructions, so let me go through the steps over here, so this is what you do. You're at this step, right? When we filter 24. Okay, so yours look like this, right? So click on the email text, put in Gene, and make sure that you select match case. You're gonna go down and you're gonna find the irregularly long email, and it's gonna be like this. Right? Okay. Are we okay here? So you should see some information in text like this. It says, do you know why my social security number is being posted? Right? I don't really know what it is about. So that's the body text of the email. That means that it's not populating enough yet, so you gotta make. Oh, because you're not looking, are you looking at the right email? You gotta select match case. Yeah, so it's not. So you have some subject line information already, yeah? RE is required to the subject line. Okay. So if you look at that email, and even if you don't see the text content because it's not yet populated, that's okay, right? To answer some of the questions, I need to see the timestamp, correct? So the time is listed right here. You go down, yes. What's his name? Okay. Okay. See?
Oh, okay.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
And then, and the timestamp is here. And if you want to look at, so to answer that question, right, are the email addresses? Yes. The timestamp of the first message, you should be able to see the timestamp if you scroll down, and it should tell you the date and time. When it was received, when it was sent. So Bob, look, Bob at 57.biz had sent on Sunday, and I think that's his email that he saw that someone has posted his social security number, and he's not sure why. To Alex at 57.biz, right? But Alex communicate with Jean, who then is the fake Jean. This Jean, not the real Jean. And that's the story. You see Bob email here? So who do you think leaked the data? Hmm? You can open the report. How many percentage you have already? Yeah, you can do that. You can go file, open report, find your folder on your desktop where you have the output. And then the second, do the custom path, add the image that you had downloaded or USB saved. Okay. No, you don't have to turn it around. You can do it.
Yeah.
So on that one, you can.
Go file, open reports. Go here. And then go to desktop. And then we had it under, is it N1 or new? Yeah, open. Report. Open. And then select custom path. This, the browse. Yes, and then find your image file. Oh, and go to your, this PC and then, oh, the Toshiba or this PC. And then the image file, G01.
Okay.
That one, G01.
Before it's
Okay.
security, before it,
Okay. There you go. Yay. All right, click email text. And then step 24. Okay. So the user account aliases, you got Alex for Allison, right? And then let me see. But look, So if you wait a little bit, your report will actually show more because it needs time to process all the text. But see, it says audience.cnn.com services, member authentication URL, right? Gene at HTTP. It says user unknown in the virtual alias table. Okay. So, and the recipient address is rejected. So that means that someone, I think it's, what was it? Bob had tried to send it to Alex at m57.biz. Remember that the CEO is Allison, right? If you go back to the case at the beginning, we document it's Allison. So there is another falsifies account. Look, if you look, sorry, it says Alex and it's rejected because, right, it's not recognized by that alias. And then you got this user account, which is not regular Gene. It's like some kind of bogus Gene with a bunch of letters. So that's not a real Gene either, right? And Gene, the real account Gene is Gene user. That's the alias right here.
So it could be any one of these lengthy emails in the window.
Yeah, the one with the. You got the timestamp. You gotta scroll down a little bit. Yeah, you see whatever I see. So scroll down, and you have to kind of read. It's not an easy thing to read. You have to look closely to it, and then you have to see. It also tell you the server whenever that you see the postfix, right? Like that's a server. Dreamhost.com, that's a server. The SMTP information or ESMTP, that's a server ID. So those are the server, like spunky mail, mx5.g dreamhost, that's a server. Whenever you see postfix, that's a server information. Remember we talked about that, that's a service for mail. So it receives, so this server receive it, the SD green, then this is the IP address, then it forwarded to Spunky Mail, then it forwarded to webmail, or from webmail Dreamhost, then it receives it under Squirrel Mail. Oh, Squirrel is Bob.
Is the highlighted area correlating? That's what we're looking at.
Well, the highlighted area, we just search it by the name matching Gene. But we're looking at this section and you're going to look at the date. You're going to look at the server. So whenever you see postfix, that's a server information. That's going to help you answer the questions, right?
Because my email up here is not Gene, something else.
Yeah, it's a long letter before Gene, okay? So what kind of information is about the email is shown in plain text? You saw, right? Right here at the top, it says, do you know anything about my social security number being posted? That's the subject line is in plain text. And then you see the rejected email. Why is it different than the original mail? Because the alias is wrong. Alex is not the same as Allison. Which authenticated user is shown in the receive line? You gotta go to see where it was received. I think there was, so there's in reply to, that's the responding email. There is from, there is, and then the content type is text. What is it? There is a rejected one at the top where it says Alex, right? So look at the rejects section. So you have to look through it, right? Like Return path. That's because Bob sent and it got rejected, so it returned. Recipient unknown. Rejected. User unknown to the virtual alias table. You see that there? That's a reject. Because Alex is not Allison. And then, is there any additional information related to irregular email address of Jean and Allison? Besides the fact that the Jean email address is not the original email address, like the real email address. And then what happened to Bob? Bob sent the email to Allison, but it never got there, right? And Bob's social security number got published. He tried to contact the CEO, but it was rejected at the top. You saw that. So this long email address belongs to someone that signs into CNN. How do I know that? There's indication of CNN authentication for that account in the header. You see it. Where is it? I saw it earlier. I just lost it. Maybe. So what artifacts were you able to gather in this exercise? We were able to examine email header, right? Of the conversation between Bob, Alex, or Allison and Jean, or the fake Jean anyways. So who do you think leaked the data? So Allison sent the file, right, to Jean, because the conversation, if you read the interview, Allison claims that Jean asked her to send the file, right? But that's not the real Jean. That's a fake Jean that asked Allison to send. So it was intercepted. The real the real Jean never asked the CEO to send that list. Only the CEO has that list, right? So the fake Jean.
Yeah.
The unreal Jean, the long email Jean. Yeah, that's the person that published the.
Okay, who leaked all the information with?
So the fault is Allison.
Yeah.
Yeah, the CEO gave that data out to someone that's external, ultimately, because she failed to read.
CEO?
Yes,
Like is that what it is?
yeah. So she fails to acknowledge that that's not a real email address. Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording.